have a quorum. We are missing 2 alternates and 1 member. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting. So, we have a second. Second, is there any corrections or additions? Seeing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Those opposed, motion carries. We have nothing under site plan subdivision, nothing under items by the public, other than the fact that I have a note here that a citizen called today and asked why the planning board does not do the pledge of allegiance before the meeting. And I've been on the planning board for over 15 years. He was on it even before me, and it hasn't been part of what we've done in that whole time. People are probably used to seeing the Pledge of Allegiance during the selectmen's meeting. We just haven't done that. All members of the board are sworn officers. We all take an oath. We uphold the Constitution. I don't see the necessity of doing the Pledge of Allegiance before every meeting. Does anybody else have any other? Anybody else just want to do that at the beginning of every meeting?
No, we're gonna go though, we need to play.
Okay. We'll move on. No unfinished business to deal with tonight. Under new business, we have the discussion decision on the short end zoning application submitted by VHB on behalf of Main Street Scout Eagle for a 150-foot boardwalk to be located between 101 and 127 Water Street. Who will be presenting this project to us?
Good evening, members of the board. I'm Dave Cias with VHB. I also have Christina Cannon here with Scott Keegan. So, project is relatively straightforward. It's a 150-foot length of boardwalk. It really starts from the pedestrian bridge that crosses the river and then runs toward the pub. This area of improvements is being funded by a housing and urban development grant, and really provides a opportunity for a viewing platform and some integration of public amenities along the waterfront in an area where there is currently kind of an informal park space. It starts to help formalize that park space. Starts to provide that viewing platform for the river, for which there will eventually be in river sports and other activities. So the application in front of you for contemplation by the board is the shoreline zone component of it. We did go in front of the committee, including police, fire, zoning, to discuss the project on the site plan review level. The project itself is about 7,400 square feet of total improved space in that area between the asphalt and the riverbank. Of that, about 5,500 or so square feet is the actual part of improvements in that space. So from the shoreline zone contemplation, looking at those standards, we are above the floodplain for all elements of this particular project. The project itself is going to be 17-foot wide wood deck boardwalk. It's going to be constructed on a series of side footings, basically concrete piers that go down to frost grade or lower, in some cases down to bedrock, because bedrock's relatively shallow in this area. And then at the top of that concrete riser, we're going to have a structural element that comes across kind of in that, call it, river toward street kind of orientation, and then wood joists and decking on top. The decking is going to be like a thermally modified wood, long-lasting decking. So that's this component. And then between the wood boardwalk and the drive lane parking area, there is an area of landscaping, with trees, the other features that provide kind of that grade break, and then there's connection points from a sidewalk area to the boardwalk at various levels, because the boardwalk has to step up to be grade up to the crossing of the bridge down to where it terminates by a couple different levels. We have ADA accessible portions that meet the drive lane in all cases. Being any project that's open to the public meets that requirement of needing to meet ADA, of course, federally funded projects as well. So the shoreline components of the project, like I mentioned, above the floodplain elevation, there is a requirement that we're at least 25 feet back from the high water line of the river, in which case we are for all elements. Then in this general development region of the town, there's a requirement that we have no more than a 70% pond area coverage on the total area of call it structure, impervious area on the various lots that this encompasses. We hit a mark of 64% with the improvements. So you can see, I've got another figure here. These are a little bit hard to see, hopefully on your iPads and various computer screens. You're able to see the application pretty well, but this colored version provides a visual of areas that remain undeveloped versus areas of each lot that's incorporated into this piece of the work. And so the green here represents what constitutes that 36% of the remaining areas. So 64.
Where's the riverbed roughly?
The river is down here, so this is the normal high water line of the river. And then, of course, in flood stage, it can come up to the 100-year flood and 500-year flood follow the line just to the top of the bank, but still not within the compass boardwalk area. The boardwalk itself will go out to the edge of the bank and just eclipse over the top of where it starts to go down. So there's a cantilever component to it. And then, of course, right along the edge of the boardwalk, there's a guardrail, we call it guardrail. It's a railing system that wouldn't allow for somebody to go through it or fall over. It's a structural system that's a component of the ocean of that area. So, there are probably a few questions you have. I covered some elements of it. There's there's probably some questions that I can open it up to the board to ask and let it go through.
Will there be growth of shrubbery or trees, et cetera, between the river and the boardwalk?
Yes, so we are not going to touch any of the trees with the exception of selective trimming and pruning. So there probably will be some, well, there not probably, there will be some, you'll have to go over the top of the cherry picker or something to be able to selectively limb some of those trees, but we're keeping them all in place. We're really containing that slope. It's pretty important that they stay
I'm
where
just
they are.
curious of whether we're gonna have future need to trim those, or we're intending to just let them grow naturally, or how will that proceed in the future? Is there maintenance need?
Yeah, I think it'll be selective trimming also in the future. And that might be a little bit harder to access than currently, but there's ways of getting up into those areas and trimming them along or on the bank of. And then with the work itself, there will be trees planted in areas in green here. We also have a proposal to put a few selected trees in the space of the boardwalk itself, with blocking out basically the joist below the decking for the trees to grow over time. And you can cut back the decking as they grow with a little tip rail, so that's protected on the edge of the tree. But we're going to have a few selected trees there. The trees that are currently there, largely in this zone, it's only 150 feet, so this is not a very long distance. There's a few existing trees that we cannot unfortunately preserve just because we have a grade change. When we have to build this structural system, we have to go down in elevation a little bit to get to grade.
I wondered what we're allowed to do in terms of trimming vegetation that close to the river. If it was a private frontage, there would be severe limitations on what anybody could do.
Yeah.
But where it's a municipality, are we allowed to maintain them?
I think the shoreline zoning, the shoreline zoning ordinance says, I think you have to preserve within 25 feet, and in the general development area, there's no restriction on like the ratios of clearing. Other areas of the town, certainly there are within all of 250 feet of the shoreline zone.
Curious. Is the intent for this to be extended in the future? Should we get additional funding?
Yeah, and Christina, if you want to talk to that some, we can expand on what we're in a planning phase. days right now for that.
I think we hope that's the case, but for now, we have this amount of money and that's what we are planning for, so.
Reasonable.
Yep.
Has the design considered the future of possibly there not being a dam? And what happens differently in that circumstance?
Good question. We don't have a hydraulic profile that shows what would be there for the dam versus not the dam. However, presumably the flood elevation doesn't alter, significantly from this area. But there would be a pretty extensive study. But the 100-year and 500-year elevations are right up to near the top of that bank anyway. So
Those are probably exceed the dam anyway.
you have more substantial infrastructure in the area that would be affected if the dam was affected.
If anything, the water will be a lot lower once if there's no dam there.
Most of the time, but it's also a lack of regulation of water flow in the future, so should that happen. So you get
Anybody else have
higher
questions?
and lower.
Looks like an interesting project.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
You spoke of long life surface on the walkway. What should we expect in terms of what that life will be with the expected foot traffic that we will see?
The products that we're looking at are a 15-year life. And, when you build a building, you build it to 100 years, right, for a wall.
Right?
With wood decking, it's not going to have the 15 years is actually pretty substantial in that world. So, the expectation is that it would probably have around that time frame of lifespan, and then we need to be probably redecked.
Is it a thick material or is it more like our typical decking we'd use at home?
It's more substantial than the typical decking, but it's not like a
1 inch thick or?
Yeah, I don't remember
Mat?
I don't know where they landed on the structural design. It's probably about an inch. Yeah. I can't say for certain where that's at, but, it might be something around that. Because it's municipal installation as opposed to residential on site.
You could have a lot denser weight on the structure. Especially if it's an overlook.
Are you gonna use EPUB, wood EPUB?
eBay. No, it's going to be more conventional wood, but thermally modified. And again, I forget I think there's like 3 or 4 options that are going to be part of the spec.
I have my desk made out of EPUB, which is supposed to last like so long.
It's an amazing wood. It's incredibly hard, and
Yeah.
actually working with it's very hard too. You have to pre-drill all the holes. You have to
Yeah, I
special-
know, ask my handyman about
go through blades very easily. We would love to do it in eBay, but it would be substantially
Probably
costlier, and
expensive.
yeah, it's very expensive.
I think New Jersey, Atlantic Boardwalk I think that's what they use there. And they
Yeah.
only had to replace it like once in its lifetime.
It is a pretty amazing product.
Yeah. If there's better options.
Any other questions?
Are we intending to remove the snow from it in the winter months?
Yes.
Good. Excellent.
Sounds like he's looking for a place for coffee right year round.
Well, it affects how much usage it gets. If it's cleared in winter, then you get more use.
Yep.
Any issues at all you see, Aaron?
No, I've been over this extensively since I started in this position. Turner and I have talked tonight over it, and they answered all the questions that we needed in our staff review that we had, just getting some up-to-date deed descriptions and stuff like that. But nope, definitely checks all the blocks.
When do you expect to do this?
When?
When?
The hope is to be able to bid it right now. Unfortunately, the federal government shut down, so the funding still requires us to go through an next step. So as soon as the funding, as soon as the government gets back into place, we'll have our, what they call NEPA review documents, National Environmental Policy Act. It's a requirement of conforming to the requirements of the funding. They probably have about a 2-week period of review, and then they'll give us authorization to bid it. So we're hoping to bid it still in this calendar year, and then get it rolling as soon as bids come in.
So if the federal government doesn't open back up again, there's no project.
That is an issue with federal funding, yes, but I would assume that they'll open at some point,
Gonna
hopefully
flip
sooner
at
than
least.
later.
Yeah, someday.
Okay, any more? Not, thank you, sir.
One quick question. Who's the maintenance on this facility? Who's that gonna fall on?
So we are actually negotiating right now a lease with the town, a lease agreement with the town for Main Street to actually do all the maintenance work on this, including snow blowing.
Nice.
Mhm.
Very good. Well, you make a motion?
I move that we issue the shoreline zoning application for the project as presented.
We have a second.
I second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Very well, it's unanimous. You have your permit.
Thank you,
Super, thank you.
appreciate it. Appreciate you guys hanging out on one agenda night.
Okay. Aaron, do you have anything for us tonight?
I don't.
Yeah? No. Dan? How about to my left?
I'm good.
Oh, that's good. How about
On your far left, I'm okay.
Hey, Turner, do you have anything? If not, again, I'll say, if you haven't voted, go vote. You need to have, voter ID, so we know who's casting votes in our state. So I encourage you to do that. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Motion carried.
Speaking of that years.
Don't forget to sign.